This Week with George Stephanopoulos starts right now.
The finish line in sight.
It's time for Donald Trump to pack his bags and go home.
We are going to win 4 more years in that very beautiful White House.
Closing arguments.
You are so lucky I'm your president.
We need a president who's going to bring us together, not pull us apart.
In this COVID election,
We're rounding the turn.
He's rounding the bend.
Trump defending his 2016 turf.
Hello, Michigan. This was the scene of a great victory.
Biden trying to expand the map.
Something's happening here in Georgia and across America.
Flooding the zone in the final hours.
I love Joe Biden, and he will be a great president.
Imagine what he will get done in 4 more years.
Just 2 days to go. 2 starkly different visions for America. More than 92 million ballots already cast in this unprecedented election. We covered all this morning with our political team, the latest analysis, the newest polls. Both campaigns are here. Nate Silver's final forecast, plus our legal team and Powerhouse Roundtable on what to watch for Tuesday night.
From ABC News, this is a special edition of This Week, Your Voice, Your Vote 2020. Here now, Chief Anchor George Stephanopoulos.
Good morning and welcome to This Week. We are in the final hours now of what may be the most fraught election of our lifetimes. With 2 days to go, Americans are on edge and engaged. More than 92 million of us have already voted. That's 2/3 of the total votes cast in 2016. When all the votes are counted, it is all but certain that more than 150 million Americans will weigh in for the first time in history. That counting may take some time in this election transformed by the pandemic. We are braced for that as well. And everyone watching at home should know that it is not a sign that anything has gone wrong. This morning, we're here to give you our best sense of where things stand right now, what to watch for Tuesday night and beyond. And we begin with our brand new polls with the Washington Post from the 2 most critical battlegrounds in this election. Florida is a toss-up with President Trump at 50 among likely voters, Biden at 48. That's down from a 4-point lead for Trump in our last poll. In Pennsylvania, the former vice president leads by 7 points, 51-44. That's down from a 9-point lead in our last poll. Trump spent the day in Pennsylvania yesterday. Biden will be there all day tomorrow. And as we head into the final stretch, let's get the latest on what's happening inside the campaigns from John Carl covering Trump, Mary Bruce covering Biden. John, start us off.
I'm Margaret Brennan at CBS News election headquarters here in New York. And this week on Face the Nation, the long and turbulent road to Election Day is almost at an end. But a dangerous new phase in the coronavirus pandemic is just beginning. In these final hours of campaign 2020, the candidates are in a last-minute blitz of the battlegrounds. A record-breaking 92 million plus Americans have already voted. So far, CBS News estimates that former Vice President Biden is narrowly ahead, but the swing states are still in play. Democrats wound up their Saturday in Detroit with socially distanced, limited capacity events. Former Vice President Biden sees the election as a referendum on President Trump, with the spotlight on his failure to control the pandemic.
And the first step of beating this virus is beating Donald Trump. We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. And yes, we choose truth over lie after lie after lie after lie.
Joe's now going to call scientists idiots. He's not going to host super spreader events around the country.
Republican rallies are filled with adoring and enthusiastic Trump supporters, despite soaring new coronavirus case numbers, particularly in the Rust Belt battleground states. Key to a Trump victory? Heavy Republican turnout at the polls on Tuesday. President Trump made 4 stops in the key state of Pennsylvania on Saturday.
Who the hell's going to vote for this guy? You know, they keep saying it's close. I don't think it's close, but get out and vote.
Mr. Trump's closing argument, America will be a dark place under a Biden administration.
Joe Biden's plan will delay the vaccine, postpone therapies, crash the economy, and shut down our entire country.
The president continues to warn of very bad things happening post-election due to counting delays.
November 3rd is going to come and go, and we're not going to know, and you're going to have bedlam in our country.
We'll tell you what to look for on Tuesday, and we've got final Battleground Tracker poll numbers, plus analysis from our CBS News elections team. We'll talk with the head of the Republican Party, Ronna McDaniel, and Biden supporter, Florida Congresswoman Val Demings. Former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson joins us to discuss election security, and we'll check in with former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb. It's all just ahead on Face the Nation. Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. We are in the final hours of Campaign 2020.
I'm Chris Wallace. In the final hours of Election 2020, Donald Trump and Joe Biden barnstorm the country and await the verdict of the American people.
A vote for me is a vote for massive tax cuts, regulation cuts, fair trade, strong borders.
We can build back, and we can build back better.
Trump and Biden go head-to-head in the key battleground states.
Sleepy Joe declared war on American workers.
Donald Trump has waved the white flag, abandoned our families, and surrendered to this virus.
And lay out their visions for handling the pandemic, reviving the economy, and the future of America. We'll discuss how the president plans to pull out another come-from-behind victory with senior advisor Corey Lewandowski. And we'll ask Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, a member of Biden's inner circle, about his path to 270 electoral votes. Then, with less than 48 hours to go, we'll bring in our Sunday panel for a look at what new Fox polls tell us about the state of the race. And our Power Player of the Week, the head of the Fox News decision team, calling the winners and losers on election night. All right now on Fox News Sunday. And hello again from Fox News in Washington. In these closing hours of the 2020 campaign, Donald Trump and Joe Biden are making the traditional last-minute blitz of swing states. But there's nothing traditional about this year. More than 92 million Americans have already voted. That's 65%, almost two-thirds of the total votes cast in 2016. But the candidates are still trying to win over the millions who'll vote on Election Day. We have new Fox polls on the state of the race. Who do voters trust to do a better job on the big issues facing the country? When it comes to the coronavirus, they trust Biden by a decisive 56 to 40% margin. On the economy, the president leads by 1 point, 49% to 48%. And when asked which should be the government's top priority, voters choose limiting the COVID spread over restarting the economy, 61% to 36%. In the presidential horse race, Biden maintains an 8-point lead, 52% to 44%. Down from 10 points in early October.
This Sunday, the final days.
Florida's looking very good. North Carolina's looking very good. Ohio is looking beyond good.
It's enough. It's time to change.
President Trump and Joe Biden make their closing arguments.
If we win, you're going to see a stock market that's going to go like a rocket ship.
I know our people. I know we can unite and heal this nation.
And go on the attack.
Biden is the candidate of anarchists and rioters and looters and gun grabbers, flag burners.
We're done with the chaos, the tweets, the anger, the hate, the failure. We refuse to take any responsibility.
The president seeking re-election during the worst COVID outbreak yet.
It's killing me inside. I'm broken. I'm broken. And my colleagues are broken.
With cases now approaching 100,000 a day.
No matter how you look at it, it's not good news.
Plus, our final NBC News Wall Street Journal poll just out on where the race stands with 48 hours to go. This morning, we'll get reports from our 4 battleground states that could decide who wins this election, from 2 experts on how safe your vote is and on the chances the election could be decided by lawsuits. and from our pollsters on the latest numbers and whether we could see another election night shocker. Joining me for insight and analysis are NBC News White House correspondent Kristen Welker, NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Casey Hunt, Rich Lowry, editor of National Review, and former Democratic Senator of Missouri, Claire McCaskill. Welcome to Sunday and a special election edition of Meet the Press.
From NBC News headquarters in New York, the longest-running show in television history, this is a special edition of Meet the Press with Chuck Todd.
Well, good Sunday morning from our election headquarters right here at Rockefeller Center in New York City. We are just 2 days before the strangest presidential election in our lifetimes, fought amid the deadliest pandemic in a century, will finally come to an end. Or will it? Yes, on Tuesday, millions will go to the polls either to re-elect President Trump or make him a one-term president in favor of Joe Biden. Not only don't we know who's going to win, but because nearly 92 million people, so far, a record, have already voted, and some battleground states count early votes very, very slowly and late, we don't know when we're going to know who's going to win. But here's what we do know. Our final NBC News Wall Street Journal poll completed overnight shows Joe Biden leading President Trump by 10 points among registered voters, 52-42. That 10-point spread, that's the biggest for any presidential candidate in our poll at this late stage since Bill Clinton's re-election in 1996. And for those of you with dreams or nightmares about a 2016 repeat, it is worth noting that our last poll 4 years ago showed Hillary Clinton with a shrinking 4-point lead. It was 44-40 on This Morning 4 years ago. That was down from a 10-point lead. And more importantly, Clinton's 44 number left a whole lot of undecideds in a campaign where far fewer early votes had been banked.